I would say probably Ricky Jones, as an old guy, has probably been the most consistent. After that, I would say there are a bunch of guys who are fighting for jobs and a lot of competition, but just really a lot of learning. And so we got a lot of work to do, but I think right now they're fighting and working hard, so love their attitudes. Just need more growth.
Where does Mitchell Page kind of stand in that?
Right now he's our starting slot, and so he's been around for a while and he's ready. He's waited his turn. Nate Sudfeld trusts him, and he's a savvy little guy that always finds a way to get open.
You mentioned Sudfeld. I think I heard that, maybe it was Sudfeld saying so, but he was maybe one of your most consistent guys over the spring or summer. Is that kind of what he?
I'd say it's very accurate. And one, Mitchell's so smart and understands the offense really well, understands space, which as an inside receiver, that's really what you need. And more importantly, I think he has Nate Sudfeld's trust.
How are the freshman receivers looking so far?
They're doing well. I like them. I think they're great kids. They're very talented. They're very skilled. But anytime you're a freshman, it's really hard to teach those guys the speed of the game until they actually get out here and start playing. And so they're doing well, but every single day, man, they're learning just a little bit more. But they're going to be really good.
I know with the boards, it's something Oregon did. Now, I just had a question about this. Is this like, does that call out a whole play, or is that just like a formation, or is that like a whole sequence of plays just with those pictures?
And it could be any of the above. It could be any of those things. Some people use them just for tempo. Some people use them for the whole formation and play. Some people use them just for dummies. So it can be anything. And for us, we kind of mix in when we use it and when we don't. Sometimes it doesn't mean anything, sometimes it does.
Do the guys have any input on what kind of goes into those boards with like the kind of funny pictures, the sideline reporters? Everything?
They have very little input on those. Maybe some, but not a lot.
Had the first scrimmage of the fall this past Saturday. How good was that? I mean, I'm pretty sure that was first, close to game action since spring game.
It's awesome. Anytime that you get a chance to move the ball and have referees there, have the guys see signals, coaches communicate, that game simulation, man, we can't do that enough. Pleased with how we did. Not that was perfect, but the kids played really hard and they were really into it.
I think it also, would you say it was a good opportunity for some of the guys like Jordan Howard who, missed the spring game because of injury to, get
That's
back
right.
in the flow?
Now it's time to get him going. That's exactly right. And there's some other guys like that too, just at receiver as well, and some freshmen. So the more game simulation we can do, the better.
Or do you feel like you have a better idea, maybe a better true picture of what he kind of brings to the table now that he's actually been active live?
Yeah, and I think that we kind of knew though. I know he missed a little bit of spring, but the kid ran a 4.4 in the winter, so we know he's fast, he's heavy. He ran for thousands of yards a year ago, so we know what he can do. Now it's just a matter of him feeling our runs and the protections and just getting an overall better awareness of what we're trying to do.
To me, that's a really interesting kind of stable of backs that you have right now with Jordan and with Divine. Kind of similar profiles, but also, I guess, different ways. Can you kind of like differentiate what the two guys do?
I think Jordan he's got good speed for a bigger guy, but he's got tremendous vision, always falls forward. Divine is an outstanding pass catcher, solid in protection, same way that he's more of a slasher as well. I think they're very comparable, like you say, and that's why for us, we don't really care who's out there. We don't feel like we miss a beat.
How comfortable are you with Divine? Just it seems like he's a guy who got his feet wet last year.
A bunch. We love Divine, and I'd say more than anything else, we just love the look in his eye. This football is really important to him. This team is, and we're going to take our chances with kids like that.
Might we see some more power rushing this year with the kind of guys you have back there?
I don't know if it's going to be necessarily power rushing. I think what we're going to try to do is determine as we go through camp who are our best 11 players, what's our best personnel groupings, and then what plays can we do out of those formations.
Gotcha. How the tight ends look with Corsaro and Friend coming off the injury. Fuchs got some experience last year. Cooper. How the tight ends look?
A couple of years ago, that position was just weak as far as depth, as far as numbers. Now all of a sudden we have a bunch of guys who have played and a bunch of experience. They're very skilled and talented. Corsaro, Fuchs, they run extremely well. Danny Friend is coming back phenomenal from his injury from a year ago. Probably having the best camp of anybody. So we like all those guys right now.
Do you think Fuchs, him playing basketball, do you think it helped? How do you think that
I don't really think it had any. Other than that gave Jordan Fuchs a chance to see what other Division I athletes look like and how they work and how they practice. And really when you put him down on the block, he has to feel what it feels like to bang. Because as a tight end, you got to play physical. But I don't know if it changed him as a football player, maybe just more as a work ethic.
Okay.
I should probably ask this, but almost a couple weeks in, just your thoughts on how the offense is coming along progressing.
I think that they're doing well. I think for us, every year, you have to go back to square zero. And for us, we're just learning how do you play fast, how do you get lined up, how do you execute our base concepts. And then we're trying to get our freshmen caught up to speed as well. So far so good, but there's still miles to go.
At receiver, a lot of new faces, and then obviously some guys that played last year. How do you feel about how it started to shake out?
Yeah, good. I like those guys a lot. I like my young guys a lot. But I also don't think that it is shaking out yet. I think that there's still a big clump of guys in there that not everyone has necessarily separated themselves, but everyone's making it really tough to separate yourself because guys are playing pretty well. So I like the competition.
QB, obviously it's Nate's team, but behind him, it's for you ever had to go to somebody else's. Anybody kind of stepping up in that number 2 role?
God forbid if we go through what we went through last year, right? That's what you're trying to say.
I'm trying to phrase it
No, I
that way.
understand. I think that we're a completely different team, and I think it's all because of Alexander Diamont, Danny Cameron, Nate Boudreau. All 3 of those guys now are just different in how they carry themselves and how they're working. Very pleased with Austin King as a true freshman. He's going to have a big-time career. So I think we're way different than we were a year ago from that standpoint.
Coach McCall just mentioned that he said at running back he would feel comfortable putting almost any of his guys out there. And as a coordinator, do you kind of feel that way too? I mean, it's obviously no Tep involved.
No,
maybe
that's
a
right.
little bit more depth.
That's right. More depth that we feel great about. And I think as a running back coach, as a coordinator, we're going to give the ball to somebody, man. We better trust that you're going to hang on to it. You're going to go do your job. And those guys are doing a phenomenal job. And that's pretty cool when you can put the second and third guy out there and feel like you're not going to lose a beat. That's a good feeling.
Coach, obviously you don't want to have to go through what you did last year with the quarterbacks, but does that give the guys a more realistic view of what can happen and how ready you have to be?
No doubt. I just had that talk with Austin King yesterday. That, Austin, even though you're not taking reps with the ones, if you stop learning, boy, we're in trouble. Because that's what happened a year ago, and we got caught. And so, for sure, we've learned our lesson. I have as a coach to make sure we got to get everybody ready to go, even when they don't get reps.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, man.